and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. I'm Becky and I help women over 30 who are stuck in diet cycles create that food freedom and feel confident in their bodies. And that's without obsessing over numbers or the scales or missing out on actually living your life. And I do that through my one-to-one Empower coaching or my Misfit group coaching. Today, I want to talk about AI, body image, and the new diet cultures that no one is talking about. Basically, I asked my clients like if they've got any questions for the podcast or when I do the Q&As as well with them within the coaching. And this question came up with one of my clients. Basically, she asked me like how can you even tell like what content online is real anymore? It was it's really confusing, to be honest, and like there is a lot out there. And what's happening is she sent me this page actually that someone was calling out this page that was basically full of AI transformations, body transformations before and afters. Basically they were selling a supplement, which is scary because they're very dramatic body transformations. And one of the things I did say is like, if it does look too good to be true, it probably is, because they were having these massive weight drops within a very short amount of time through a supplement. That's where I would question these things as well. There was I'll get into it a little bit more, but anyway, that's where this question came up for, and actually it sparked this interest in me because obviously, I'm about anti-diet culture. Also, I really stand against like these unrealistic beauty expectations that are, being set on us as women for generations. And just as like it seems like every generation we've got a new battle. Growing up 90s, noughties, we had the magazines scrutinizing women's bodies, tearing us down. We had the basically the nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, the heroin chic to compete with. And it really scares me that this new generation, or even us that still have, some women I speak to are still struggling with body image and food relationship. Obviously that's where I come in to help. But for some, it's still very raw. So seeing these kind of things on social media can be extremely triggering and damaging, especially if you can't tell what's AI. And AI is getting quite advanced now, and it is difficult to tell, and it's not being monitored as in like, they should be putting AI labels on things, but people, no one's monitoring if they are or not, which, is very scary. But, so we grew up with those magazines, those crash diets, those nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and now it seems like we're fighting against algorithms and pixels and made up computer generated photos and videos as well. So I don't want to this isn't about causing any fear. This is about making you aware and protecting yourself and your mental health as well, because diet culture, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to want to disappear. Scrutinizing women's bodies doesn't seem to want to disappear. And obviously I'll get a bee in my bonnet about that, because I'm like, why do people seems to be one lot of people seem to want to put women down. They want to quieten us, keep us distracted, keep us small. Like I say, we can't rise to power on an empty stomach, so do not let them force you into that way. Anyway, like it's me getting all like, come on, my feminist side is coming out. So, but I keep saying, I think recently with all the news and everything that's going on, I definitely am going back into a bit more of my like punk, fire in my belly, like standing up against the patriarchy kind of roots. But this is where it all ties in. Who controls the media? Let's say that anyway. So yes, this diet culture, it's not disappearing. Obviously, I can't speak from experience before the 90s, but there was definitely messaging there. We know that from our parents, from our grandparents. But in the 90s and noughties, what like we remember is that like heroin chic, the nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, scrutinizing women's bodies, making us feel like we couldn't have cellulite, stretch marks, body rolls, where they're completely normal human, to be part of a normal human body. That's what I'm trying to say. It made us feel like we needed to compare. And that's something I really struggled with, comparing to others, thinking, why can't my legs just look like that? Or why doesn't my stomach just be flatter like hers? Why can't I look like those people? There must be something wrong with me. I tried everything and it just made me feel miserable and stuck and unhappy for far too long. And I'm sure if you're listening, you can relate to that. And maybe that's something you're still struggling with too, but I'm here for you. Don't you worry. So that shrinking, obviously, like making us have a poor relationship, not even only our bodies, but with food as well, because it taught us that we should be eating less. It taught us to fear certain foods. I thought carbs were so, should be eating carbs because obviously they make you put on weight, and I can't be eating those. So I had to cut out those. And then I shouldn't be eating sugar, and I shouldn't be eating this. I shouldn't be eating full fat stuff or whatever it may be. It's like, what the hell am I meant to be eating? And it causes this massive fear and restriction. And then you're eating so low calories, you're exhausted, and you would just give up on the weekend and then hit the fuck it button. And then this whole thing comes down. And it starts with that comparison. It starts with, thinking, I just need to look like her. How do I do that? Eat less, do more. We know that doesn't work. But it even knowing it doesn't work doesn't mean that it's easy to get out of that cycle. So we haven't healed from that era, which is such a shame. As much as not just me, but other people out there trying to bring awareness and do things to help, we still haven't healed, because there's still people out there promoting this thin ideal, this diet culture. So how could we have healed as a society if that's still going on? And not only that, we've upgraded to, like, with the tech around it, the AI, the filters, there's so many things that come out, and it really upsets me that if there's coaches out there doing that as well. To me, integrity and being honest is so important. It's one of my values. I care so much about my clients. I do get involved, I know everything like is going on with their lives and stuff, because to me that's what this is about. Not just creating false transformations, passing it off as your own just to get money. Really, that's what it comes down to. These people, there's no integrity behind it. And it's like, get the injustice. I hate it. I hate the injustice. But anyway, that's, we've got this kind of upgrade to now, like feeling this shame, but it's just all shinier, and it's really like not knowing like what's real and what's not real. I mean, I have seen like influencers, and underneath in the caption they're like, this isn't real, this is someone I've created. So how do we know, like, even in the fitness space, like, you could be following someone, going forward, how social media is going, and it might not even be real. But I do believe, please do try and look into things, and if you're questioning it, probably good to question everything. It's always good to question everything, to be fair, like in life. I do. Not that I cause arguments, but it's more like, oh, what about from this point of view, or what about from that? Anyway, I'm going off on one anyway. So let's talk about the face of this new diet culture then. So what has changed? We now have got AI generating influencers, generating before and after pics, not even the pictures, but videos as well. So they look so real. We've got face and body editing as well that looks really, really real. Transformations that like are just, that aren't I can't speak now. Is this what happens? Biological, that was the word I was looking for. Transformations that aren't biological possible. Like I said before, this page that I saw, these extreme weight loss in a few months, like it, that's it's questionable. And also I looked down this page and you can see that they've used the same people, but maybe they're wearing different things, and just a different colour. But I'll talk about that in a minute, about how to spot these things. So yeah, we've got AI generated light body. Let's start there. So there's some people obviously using this kind of technology to look at body transformations. Not even that, I know we've had like quite a few years now with social media, like being able to use filters, Photoshop editing, all this stuff, which sometimes is a bit clunky, and you could tell. But with AI, it's getting less and less noticeable, and AI is advancing at quite a fast speed, which is quite worrying as well. But yeah, so we've got this to compare ourselves to now. Not only were we comparing ourselves to real people, we are now comparing ourselves to things that are like, they're generated by computer, like they're all algorithms and math equations and numbers. And now you're being made to feel rubbish by comparing yourself to this. And it breaks my heart as well, because I know how it feels to be in that place. Like when I was comparing myself like years and years ago, and it used to like make me feel sick to the stomach. It's like your heart drops, your stomach drops, you feel sick. Why can't I look like that? Why can't I ever look like that? Why can't I feel good about myself? It's making me feel quite emotional actually talking about it, because it brings up those feelings when I remember how I felt. So that was real people I was comparing myself to. And I'm thinking like now, feeling in that space, and now comparing yourself to these flawless images that are on the internet, and how like soul destroying that can be. Like this makes me just want to help so many more people to feel good in themselves, because when you do feel more confident in yourself, you can shut out that noise. But when you're in it, and I know how it feels to be in it, it is so hard to shut that noise out. But yeah, these transformations are just not, or these AI generated influencers and whatever it may be out there, they're just a bit too perfect. And what's that going to do to humanity? So it's just really installing this message that we're not good enough. No matter how much we try, they're going to make an AI generated version of us that is flawless, better. But doesn't that just take the soul away from everything? So AI isn't natural, it's trained on these like beauty standards that we as a society have decided this is what beauty looks like. It's gonna, it's what's that as well? Like they say, like, oh, if you've got a symmetrical face as well, it's meant to like mean that you're really, really attractive. But does it? Because honestly, I just find people's quirks so much more, interesting, and like to be able to explore that. Like our bodies tell a story, and AI hasn't got a backstory. Our bodies tell us what, the journey we've been through in life, the scars, the stretch marks, the cellulite, the body rolls, everything about us is because we've lived and we've had a story. So like AI it doesn't have a story. It's just this like this, I guess, this picture of perfection that it's picking up, because obviously it's trained on what we input into it, and what it picks up from, I guess, the internet as well, what it perceives that we think beauty standards should be. But so I want to let's talk about how can we tell what's real or not as well. So got some red flags to look at as well. So like I said, this is what we can look out for at the moment, or certain pages, or on Instagram or something, like certain things that are coming up that you're like not quite sure of. Like first thing I said, like if it looks too good, probably is. So I would always question that. So little things to look out for is that, like for example, that maybe it's looking at if everything's like perfect lighting, sorry, like there's no skin texture, no one's got any like maybe spots or acne or like pores. Like we all have bumps. Like I've got bumps on my face and wrinkles and shit going on. Like so, if it looks too perfect and skin texture looks too perfect, looking is like if you've got like identical after bodies across different accounts, so if we keep seeing the same thing pop up, but there's yeah, and maybe they're like slight changes. There's things as well like what they're wearing. Like there's like AI jargon that comes up quite a lot. So like the writing on the t-shirts doesn't actually say anything. It's just like these made up letters. And it just and like things like that. So like look for things in the background that maybe look a bit off, things that don't look quite right. Extreme, like I talked about as well, the extreme changes in really short time frames as well. Like yeah, the ones that I was seeing as well, like they were doing quite I suppose people that are in quite larger bodies then going to like quite thin, and there was no like skin excess and things like that, which you would get that from such an extreme weight loss. So things like that to look out for as well. Like it doesn't seem like a natural weight loss, if that makes sense. Then there's just really vague captions as well, like, oh, this is what was achieved, like here's like follow this link for the plan, or like yeah, just really short, like there's no mention of like any life context, like what this person was going through, like what their backstory was, what was done like to help them achieve that. Like the coaches that I'm in, the group coaches, we have, like, just explain that I know my clients so well. It's quite easy for me to go like, yeah, when this person came to me, like they were struggling with poor body image, consistency, they've got a really busy job, they've got a family, they've got 2 kids, they so much on their plate, like the backstory, and exactly what you did to help them get there. Like I know that with certain clients we leaned more into their relationship with their body, or we worked on my anchor point method because they were struggling with consistency. We broke through their perfectionist mindset because they were struggling with the all or nothing approach. Like not everything is the same. Each client, obviously there's similarities because I help people with certain problems, but no 2 stories are the same. So if it just seems like there's no backstory, there's just really short captions, there's no depth behind it, if that makes sense, then definitely question it. Unfortunately, the health industry is a multi-million pound industry, and a lot of it is trying to sell you some bullshit supplement that doesn't work. If you want to learn more about that, do listen to the podcast I did, episode 27 with Chloe, around like health, women's health as well, because we talk about supplements and that. And honestly, you don't need practically any of the crap that they try to sell you. And weight loss will not come in the form of a pill. I'm sorry to say, there's no magic pill for creating sustainable habits and working on your body image or your relationship with food. Like unfortunately, that is work that has to be done through mindset coaching, and it's hard. I'm not gonna sit here and say, do you know what, it's all easy. You have to do put in the work and be like, do you know what, I really want to change this, and I am gonna commit myself, and I'm gonna use the tools, use the resources, watch the videos, because that's what makes the changes, not some quick fix, which unfortunately a lot of these AI things are trying to sell you, and they play on your vulnerability, because like I said, I know how miserable it is to be in that space, and at that point you're like, I will take anything to try and get rid of this feeling. So yeah, so look out, like if there's no backstory, if there's no like life context, no talk about mental health, relationship with food, how they were before and like how they are now, that is to me a big red flag. Because if there's no backstory, like who is this person, how are you meant to connect to them and their story anyway? But anyway, this content is going to make you feel like smaller. It can make you feel more ashamed. Obviously, that comparison, it brings in a lot of emotional side to it. Your self-worth, not feeling good enough, feeling like, oh, I'll never get to that point, I'll never look like her. It makes you feel behind. I think, yeah, like again, like why is this not working for me? Da, 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 that kind of feeling. And it makes you think like, well, I need to do that because I need to get that urgent fix. I need to do, I need to lose that amount of weight in 2 months. Because of course you do. Of course, like if you're feeling miserable, like of course you want that fix and you want it to go away. You just want that feeling to go away. And they're playing on that, and that's what breaks my heart even more. Yeah, so if this content is feel like, I always say to people, and I think I said it on another podcast as well, like curate I can't speak now, curate your Instagram or your social media, whatever you're using, to things that bring you joy, things that make you feel empowered, things that make you feel included. Not if certain pages or certain things are bringing you down, making you feel like shit, making you feel like you're not worthy, just unfollow or hide the pages for a bit. I even say to people, like some of the clients, that maybe they're going through, because they're working through something that's quite difficult, but their friends are sharing certain things. I'm like, you don't have to unfollow people, but you can just hide things for a moment, hide the stories, hide the grid posts. Just, it doesn't mean forever. It just means sometimes when you're working through certain things. So it's one of my biggest advices, is because when we're exposed to that, and I know I notice it in myself. If I start comparing, I'm like, hang on, I know what I'm doing here. I'm falling back into old habits. I'm just going to, blank this for a little bit, depending on what, maybe you've got stuff going on and you just like, I need to focus on myself for a little bit, and that's okay. So I want to talk about why my page and doing the type of work that I do feels so important right now. And like, if you do follow my social media as well as listen to this, you know that I do talk about 90s always diet culture, rising up against these beauty standards and the thin ideal and diet culture and what we've been exposed to. Because like AI is thriving on that connection, those likes, and people believe it, I guess. And it's like I said, it's so real, and it's so I sometimes I'm like, is this real? Is it not? I don't know. But I would highly advise, and there's a lot of people out there, a lot of influencers, other coaches that are all about that realness, So I would 100% maybe look at who you're following and make sure that it is bringing you joy. Again, like just said about curating your feed. But the work I do obviously is very much about reconnection to yourself, like trusting yourself again, shutting out that noise. Because when that noise is heavy, when you can feel it all around you, it weighs on you, it brings you down, it makes you feel miserable. Like, I always describe it as like a little grey cloud over your head. That sinking feeling in your stomach, like if you're in that place where this is real going on for you right now. So my job, what I do, is help people shut out that noise and reconnect to themselves, finding confidence in their body, in their unique self, because you are fabulous, okay? And you might not feel it right now, but you are. Everyone is. They've got that fabulous side to you. I say everyone is. There's certain people, maybe not. But thinking about what's going on in the news at the moment. But you guys listening to this, you are fabulous. So we're going to concentrate on that. So what changed for me is being able to actually think about my own body, what it does for me, stepping into my unique self. Yeah, so what? I'm not going to look like, a Victoria's Secret model. I don't really want to. There was a point where I was like, yeah, I need to look super thin and glamorous and all this stuff. But chasing that, I just felt miserable. And I was chasing someone else, if that makes sense. It wasn't me. So I had to really think about, this is where the identity work comes in that I do with my clients as well. what did I actually want? Who do I actually want to be? And do you know what? I like that I'm a little bit quirky, I guess, that I've got a bit of a weird dress sense to some people, that I have piercings and tattoos and I like to wear a headscarf. I like that about me. I like that I like to feel strong. Doesn't matter that I feel bloated sometimes, but I can lift some weights. I can look after myself. And that is way more powerful, because when you start thinking about yourself and actually how you want to show up in life, not what social media wants to tell you, okay? Because this is what happens as well. I think I'm going to do some posts around this as well, but we are so exposed to social media and consumerism. They sell us this idea of happiness and what will make us happy and what will, what makes us popular. They're like the shiny stuff, the influencers, whatever, like adverts. Like, look at this. You'll be happy if you have all this. But then you question it. And you're like, but do I actually want it? And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, for so long I probably did buy into that stuff, and now I'm like, it doesn't actually make me happy. What makes me happy is doing the things that I like, the little quirkiness things that I like to have around me, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I don't want to fit into a box. I don't want to be in like my millennial grey house. I want all the quirky pictures up and my little like all my little skulls around, and all the things that I like and enjoy. That's obviously is a little bit consumerism, I guess, but what I mean is, like, I'm not getting it, so like trying to buy into this idea of what social media is telling me what would make me happy. So the first thing, what I was trying to get at that is when you work on your identity, like, what do you actually want? Not what social media tells you what you want, not what someone else tells you what you want, not what family tell you what you want, not what friends tell you what you want. What do you actually want? Like, and then when you can understand, like, and that ties back into like health, fitness, body image, everything. Because when you understand actually what you value, who you are, then you can start working on actually the self-love, acceptance, and being you. And it removes the noise of everything else. So that's like, and you start to trust yourself again. And I know, because I've been through this journey myself, and I've helped hundreds of women probably at this point to get to that point too. And when I see it like fall into place and click, it's incredible. We're like, oh my God, I don't even care about scales anymore, or not comparing myself anymore. And I'm in photos and I actually like them because I'm looking at the moment and not hyper focusing on certain areas of my body. Like, that is the difference, because you're living then. You're not walking around with this grey cloud over you constantly. You're showing up, you're living, you're happy, you're content. That's what this is about. So that's it all like, because I think, like, when I say people like I'm anti-diet culture, it's so much deeper than that. Like, it's rediscovering yourself and your values, and letting go of food and body comparison taking up every waking moment of your life. And it starts there. So I don't sell perfection. That's why I don't advertise myself as a fat loss coach or a body transformation coach, or that you'll have this perfect life after. Because I teach people that, life is going to have ups and downs. We're going to have stresses. We're going to have things happen that isn't easy. Sometimes we're going to go through the shit, but actually I want you to learn how to deal with that, how to build up resilience, how to find perfection in the imperfection, how to feel the feels without having an absolute meltdown, or catastrophize. It's teaching people how to think, how to feel, and how to choose. I'm here to help women build a relationship with yourself and not chase a arbitrary kind of result, like always chasing the scales. Because haven't you done that for far too long? Chase a number on the scales, chase a number like a dress size. This is more than that. It's finally coming home to yourself. It sounds really cheesy, but like, it is. It's being comfortable with you and who you are. Because sometimes maybe we're not quite sure, or we have an idea but we're too scared to step in and be our true selves. But that's what I'm here to encourage. So AI, an algorithm, that can't teach you self-trust. That can't teach you how to heal your shame, the guilt around food. It can't teach you how to heal your relationship with your body. All it can show is something else to compare yourself to. And it's not even real. So what we need to do is really look at, like, I guess when it comes to like body image, self-worth, health, it's really important, like, to be able to come back to, like I said, what is it that you actually want? Because we all go like, oh no, I just want to be like thinner. Okay, why? Always comes down to, like, that's actually not the reason. You don't want to be thinner. What does it actually mean to you? What's behind that goal, if that makes sense? Maybe it is because I'll be able to move more. I'll be able to have more energy to do things. So actually the goal isn't being thinner. It's being more healthier to be able to go and do the activities that you want to do. Okay. And the same, like, here, we need to be able to tie into, like, your self-worth. How, if you've got low self-worth, which it can be if you're comparing yourself to lots of this thing, but working on your own self-worth and building that up, because you are worthy. If you're listening to this, you are definitely worthy. You've just been comparing yourself for far too long, or maybe you've experienced being put down in your life, having comments and stuff. It's something that happened in my lifetime as well. But it leaves you feeling like no confidence and low self-worth as well. They're the things. You're not going to fix that by comparing yourself or trying to punish yourself into a thinner body. You need to work on that from the mind. So yeah, this is what it's all about. Like, there's obviously a lot coming in here as well. Like, I was just thinking, like, what else why AI doesn't teach you how to break, like, emotional eating, the all or nothing thinking, burnout, which can be happening if you are comparing yourself as well. Like I said there, like, you compare yourself, you get into these cycles, you start feeling miserable, you fall back into old habits. Like, oh yeah, you feel shit, so obviously you want to self-soothe. Food can give you that. Or you either go all in or all out, like, right, that's it, no more chocolate, no more cake, I'm going to start Monday, I'm going to be good. I'm actually going to have to, like, again, labelling food is something else I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to be good. And then you restrict, you're not including any of the things that you enjoy, that all starts to fall apart. Sometimes, like I say, you always like press the fuck it button on the weekend, but sometimes it can last a few weeks, and then you're like, I can't do this anymore, I'm miserable. Or you burn out, you're trying to do too much. But this all stems back to the comparison of low self-worth. That chasing these AI, like, influencers or body transformations, they're not going to teach you any of this. Just going to make you feel more shit. So I obviously am standing up against this. Like, and I'm not saying, like, all AI is bad. I mean, there's a lot to be questioned out there. Or I'm not saying all social media is bad either, because there is, like, people bringing awareness to certain topics. We've got more information than we've ever had. Like again, when I was talking to Chloe and I was talking to Bailey as well with neurodivergence, we have access to so much more information. People are feeling heard, feeling seen for the first time, which is incredible, and I'm all here for that. But what I don't want to see is this darker side where we have this new diet culture uprising of this, people just making up bullshit and another thing to compare yourself to. But so this is all about creating awareness and making sure that you're aware of, actually, if things are bringing you down, if you're questioning if things are real, then maybe just try and find things that you know are real. Bring that realness back in your life. Boundaries as well. Like, again, like I said, curating your feed, making sure that you know where your boundaries are. But the good way to set a boundary is something that makes you feel icky or a bit, so I call it the ick test. If it makes you feel a bit icky, it's not aligning with your values, set a boundary there. So seeing something on the internet, maybe on social media, maybe it's on someone's page, it's making you feel icky, that's a cue to set a boundary. And remember that you've got a choice around this. You can choose what brings you joy, who you want to follow, what is picking you up rather than bringing you down. Because we need to keep showing up and showing real bodies and this realness and essence of being a woman and a human being. Because, the goals should never be about looking perfect, especially in this digital world where people, when they say got a highlight reel, people aren't showing actually what's going on in the background. I'm all about the realness, and it's something that I think we're going to miss even more going forward. So I am here to make sure that I always bring that realness in. It's something I'm very passionate about, because I want you to feel at home in a real body instead of comparing yourself to all this perfectionist, unreal, filtered, AI tweaked, whatever it may be, stuff. I want you to know, and I want you to feel at home in your body, feel confident in your body, and know that all of its scars, its rolls, its cellulite, whatever it may be, they are beautiful, they're unique, and that's what makes you, you. You are human. So I'm going to choose messy, human, imperfect bodies every time. And I want you to know that, you don't need upgrading. We need to just make sure that we're here for each other. So I want you to just reflect on this. I know I talked about a lot and I might have gone off on a bit of a tangent and spiraled a bit on some things because that's how my brain goes sometimes. But I really just wanted to have a really open conversation about some of the new challenges that we're facing. Reflect on this conversation. Make sure you reflect on maybe the content that is making you spiral and making you feel a bit shit. Unfollow those people without the guilt, without feeling like, oh no, like I said, if you don't want to unfollow, just put them on quiet for a minute. It's all good. So if this if you are struggling and you want to feel more confident in your body, this is obviously what I do day in and day out with my clients, all about working on your relationship with your body, with your relationship with food. I have a coaching space that's very safe and non-judgmental. It's something I'm very proud of. Everyone is welcome. But it's a space away from the noise. And even, like I said, my client put this question up because I say to people, if you've got any questions around this kind of stuff, let me know and I'll help break it down. Because the last thing I want you to be doing is spiraling. That's what I'm here to help with. What I really want to do is just help you build trust in yourself again. So if this conversation has hit and you're ready to have some more support doing the work, to apply for coaching, all you need to do is just hit the link in the show notes and fill in an inquiry form and I will be in touch. But I just want you to know, if you've ever got any questions, please reach out. But you are not alone and I'm here for you. Let's fight the good fight.